You know what? That would have been a good hoedown, the two of them though, right? That guy had size on Wes Watson. That guy to stomp that dude out. That would have been interesting to watch.
But I don't know. I don't think Wes can fight though. You know, when guys are that big, they're so intimidating that when they call people on, most people just back down, so they don't get in a lot of fights. When I first went to prison, I wasn't a fighter. You know what I mean? I lost a few fights. I won a couple fights. Finally, someone told me, hey, Cass, you should keep your eyes open when you get in these fights, and you'll probably do a lot better, right?
It helps, doesn't it?
So, yeah, once I started keeping my eyes open, I started winning fights because I'm not a small dude. I'm kind of a big dude, you know? But
you can relate to this shit that I'm about to talk about. You know, sometimes in prison, dudes get positions. And once you get that position, sometimes it goes to their head. Other times, dudes get positions and they still continue to make the right decisions, right? So like Wes Watson, and this is the other part too, and we'll talk about it, you know, like, let's say like the Aryan Brotherhood, you know, everybody despised the Aryan Brotherhood. We'll talk about white gangs a little bit, right? Why did they despise the AB in prison? Well, because they had the power. They had the influence at one time, right? And when they had that influence, you know, they could tell white dudes like, yo, bro, you ain't watching the white TV. Well, why not? Don't ask why. Or they might be like, this is why. You know, and I'll relate to another situation where we had a dude that was smoking chew, stinking and shit. And we told him, hey, bro, you can't be over here in the white TV area smelling like that. You're offending other people. Get out of here. You're not sitting over here. Dudes didn't want it. And that's what happened. We got rid of them. You got to go, right? So, you know, when you start to build up, right, and you start to do things, other people sometimes get angry, right? Same thing with the dirty white boys. Everybody at one point decided, hey, now, you know, the Aryan Brotherhood kind of phased out, not a bunch of them dudes. We'll give out some audiobooks. Just email me. You know, dudes started to phase out, and then the dirty white boys kind of were like the strength, right, of the white gangs. So everybody started disliking him. So Wes Watson comes on TV and he gets on YouTube. This dude's making, you know, he's making, you know, he's promoting himself, right? He's marketing himself. He's promoting himself. And how do you do that? You get loud. You get boisterous. You know, I could do all that shit too, you know. You get loud, boisterous. I mean, I obviously don't look like him, you know what I'm saying? But I'm working on it. I am working on it. But anyway.
I know you are, Jared.
Not really working on it like that. But, yeah, we're not
Juice, that's what he did.
Yeah, beat it. Yeah. We know that they lost. Thanks for telling us. We would have never known if you didn't tell us. Okay, so this is the deal, right? You know, dude comes on, he starts marketing himself, he starts yelling, screaming. Maybe he's embellishing his stories, making himself bigger than he really was, or did things that he really didn't do. But people buy into that shit on YouTube all the time, right? People always buy into that story, into that narrative, right? People have been telling stories before there was ever televisions, right? People being covered wagons, man, they'd circle around and they'd tell stories, and that's how they entertain themselves, right? Storytelling. People started storytelling. I'm not saying that all this dude's stories are storytelling, but, you know, some of them seem a little embellished, right? Build up his platform. He starts getting money. He becomes, you know, this influencer. You know, there's probably a bunch of white dudes that listen to this dude, right? Dudes that really don't know about prison. They're like, love this guy, man. This guy's the best, bro. They call up a homie or they send a video over to one of their homeboys. Some of these dudes probably work in offices, all kinds of shit, right? Like, you know, suit and tie kind of guys, and they're fascinated by the prison life. They see this big ass honky right here, tattooed up, muscled up. They've been watching, you know, shit on Spike TV when Spike TV used to have the prison stuff on it and A&E. They're like, man, this dude's the real deal. And they buy into his program, right? Then he starts, you know, doing the workout shit, and people are buying all of that stuff. And Wes Watson's all the way up here. And dudes are like, man, F Wes Watson, man, he's a liar. All the stuff that he told, it's all a bunch of bullshit, all a bunch of stories. And now Wes has to, you know, protect the image that he's projecting, right? He's this badass white dude, you know, prison shot caller. If you let
shot caller.
Maybe he really was. I don't know. Right? I wasn't in prison with this dude.
20-inch blades.
Nah, man, we know dudes. Or I was with this dude. This dude's full of shit. It don't matter if he's full of shit, because at this point, the dude's all the way up. Pockets are big. Can anybody Google what his net worth is? What's he worth? What's Wes Watson worth? Millions, right? A couple million. Someone Google that real quick and put it in the comments for me, right? So now his stories, his narrative, he got paid. People are mad. People are like, man, F this dude. This dude's a liar. I don't like this dude. And I don't like, some people don't like him because he made it to the top, right? Because he's getting that bread. Sometimes there's haters in life, right? Some people don't care for this dude because they feel that he got arrogant. Like I'm telling you, the dude that I'm really close friends with that helped him out in the beginning, you know who I'm talking about, bro, if you see this. The dude, he gets arrogant, right? He starts mistreating people. He starts, he just, my debit card was used. What the fuck? I got to check out and see what the hell's going on.
So basically, I was hoping he was going to talk a little bit more about Wes, but basically that's Wes in a nutshell.
So look, he's a steroided out. I'm sorry. The guy looks like he's juicing.
I got a picture of it. I'll pull up a picture.
Pull it up. Because there's a big difference between, and I'm not mad at you. I've done steroids. I did them years ago. I'm not mad at him for juicing, but he nailed it. That's exactly the truth. This is a guy that has put an image out. There's a lot of people out there that say that they did time with him and that none of the stuff is true. I can't back any of that up. And I also know that they can say whatever they want about you on YouTube, and there's nothing anyone can do about it because that's the story of my life, right? We deal with this every single day. But I can judge Wes Watson for things that he's done that we can look at. And if you Google Wes Watson and P. Diddy, you're going to come up with it because there's only going to be one time where the two of them met.
Dude,
and he went into absolute Diddy worship. Man, this is the king. This is storybook. This is how it happens down here in Miami. That's what he said. If that's not a quote, it's pretty damn close. I got it like that. It's a memory thing. Actually, it's I used to be a beast. Like when I met Casper, man, my memory was freaky. I could scare you with stuff. Like I could spit back things people said word for word, but those days are over. I'm getting old, you see, and the old gray matter, it ain't what it used to be. I knew Kristen Melinda was going to pop with the 20-inch blades on the Impala. She does that just about any time you say shot caller. And you make a really good point. Anytime that people start believing the hype about themselves, problems happen, it seems. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. There really is. Oh, look at that.
So here's Wes getting confronted by the guy. This is on Johnny Bravo Films. He's a great creator.
Next to him, all beating down this guy brutally. Then after he's done, he beat.
But Wes Watson called this guy
It's
out.
weapons. It's his goon little fuckers next to him, all beating down this guy brutally.
Anyway, they all jump
then
in.
after he.
You know what? That would have been a good hoedown, the two of them, though. Right? That guy had size on Wes Watson. That guy to stomp that dude out. That would have been interesting to watch.
But I don't know. I don't think Wes can fight, though. When guys are that big, they're so intimidating that when they call people on, most people just back down, so they don't get in a lot of fights. When I first went to prison, I wasn't a fighter. You know what I mean? I lost a few fights. I won a couple fights. Finally, someone told me, hey, Cass, you should keep your eyes open when you get in these fights, and you'll probably do a lot better, right?
It helps, doesn't it?
So, yeah, once I started keeping my eyes open, I started winning fights because I'm not a small dude. I'm kind of a big dude, But,
you won a few with your eyes closed, though. Good for you, dog. That tells you a lot. And prison fighting is fun.
Yeah.
But you learn real quick to keep your elbows in.
Yeah, I'm no tough guy, though. Yeah, keep your elbows in. Right.
Hey, did you ever see the movie Raising Arizona?
Oh man,
the fight scene inside the mobile home. That's fighting in prison. Like the first time you get in a fight, so you go like this and you hit the bunk and you're like, oh my God, you don't even want to fight anymore. The only good news is the guy that goes to punch you does the same thing against the brick wall in the back. You get real good at doing this one. Like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Keep your elbows on the inside, man.
Yeah. But
Paula, men get old and women get beautiful and glow. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Besides, I got city miles, not highway miles.
I'll take everything you got in the register and these Huggies.
And hurry up. I'm kind of in Dutch with the old lady.
Yeah. But here he is getting arrested. You know, he's a big dude for that fight. The fight was all over the internet. Johnny Bravo Films, who's an amazing creator who I'm kind of robbing this from. He was the first one to get a full video of that fight, and so that's his footage. He owns that. And
look at the all slung back on the back of his head. He's got the prison camouflage down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, make no mistake. Johnny Bravo is great, by the way. I'm so jealous of the guy's hair. It's hard to like him. He's just handsome. Got that Elvis look going, and he's got the Johnny Bravo hair for real. Yeah, I don't like you either. How many times have I said that?
I know.
Seriously. Other than the hair thing, I like you.
Let's take a look at his hearing.
Next morning, you wait to see the judge to see if they're going to give you bail. So this is not a trial. This is just a request for bail. Now notice,
little bail hearing.
When you're watching this, they fuck up everywhere. They don't even see the guy has a prior. Okay. But again, this is not a trial. This is
Honor Michael Gottlieb on behalf of Mr. Watson.
Good morning. Do you have any? Have you had a chance to review the arrest affidavit?
I have not seen the affidavit, Your Honor. However, I am familiar with the
virtual
circumstances of the case. This was a fight that happened at Mr. Watson's gym where an individual challenged Mr. Watson to a fight, came into the gym, placed a recording device believed to be a cell phone down to watch him fight Mr. Watson. I believe Mr. Watson has numerous defenses, including stand your ground, self-defense, and consent to this charge. I understand the state's theory. However, this individual came to Mr. Watson for the specific purpose of challenging him in a street fight. And then
here it says the CCTV shows the victim set up his phone to start recording the interaction between him and the defendant. And it says the victim pushed the defendant.
Correct.
State.
I'm reading it, Your Honor.
Struck the victim several times at the weightlifting bench.
She's just not reading it.
And then other people joined.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Striking and kicking the victim.
Let's hear Wes talk, brother.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to talk, man. I mean, I can pull up a million things of him talking, but
I don't see any local or out-of-county priors here. I would defer to the court and just simply ask for the stay-away order.
The victim suffered a face fracture, concussion, and 2 black eyes, but it looks like you have a very valid legal argument, Mr. Gottlieb.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask for an ROR.
Well, your order to stay away from
released on his own recognizance.
No contact with the victim, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. And you must stay at least 500 feet away from the victim's home, school, and place of employment at all times. Do you understand the stay away, sir?
Yeah.
All right. So he punched him, and then they used a weight. He used a weight belt.
Correct.
So it aggravated. There's probable cause for, I guess, the felony. You want me to split them both, 2,500 each? I'm not giving an ROR.
I understand.
Yeah. Nice.
Is acceptable. Thank you.
$2,500 bond count one, $100 bond count two. Have a good day.
She yanked the carpet right out from underneath him.
Mr. Watson, I'll take care of that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Could you repeat the bonds?
$2,500. $2,500 count two with the stay away order. If he comes to your gym, call the police. Don't engage, because if you get arrested for anything else, you'll be locked up in jail until your trial.
Okay, I just want to real quick.
Mr. Watson, please don't make any statements. We'll talk about it. Thank you, sir.
Can't help it, but
No problem. No problem. I'll make sure your bond is arranged. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Take care.
he can't help himself.
Shut up, dude. So ROR is you're getting released on your own recognizance, right? ROR is the best possible case scenario if you're sitting there at a bail hearing, and it looked like she was going to give it to him, and then she was like, "Wait a second. No, this is felony. You didn't just defend yourself. You grabbed a weight belt. No, this ain't good." So, but it's not much of a bail.
No, it's not. But I don't think he's got a huge criminal history either. So not the criminal history he likes to brag about.
No, but he has been to the joint, so he's at least got several felonies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless the first one was just rowdy, you usually don't go to prison on your first felony.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a deep dive on this entire thing, and we're gonna follow this here.
Same thing, actually. Same thing.
Yeah. What did I say? Put a 1 in the chat if people want to see some court stuff like every once in a while. Yeah. I have hours and hours and hours of awesome court hearings.
There's nothing I like. I like revocations. They're my favorite. There's nothing, you know why? Honestly, because I think that there's life lessons in them. And I mean, I'm not being funny. I like looking back on that crap. I was watching one the other day, and as I'm sitting and listening, because the woman's like, the judge says, so you were ordered to do community service. Have you done any of it? No. You were ordered to do this. Have you done any of it? No. You were ordered. And it went on for about 5 minutes. There's like 9 things this dude was supposed to be doing. He hasn't done any of it. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, what a douchebag. Like, how could you? And then it occurred to me that I had been sitting in that dude's seat saying the exact same thing to a judge about a dozen times in my life, man.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how far off dope will get you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to look at it. I'm just not that person.
Those would be good to showcase because of the relapse component of it. We can talk about that. The repercussions of relapse and letting yourself get too far out there. I don't see. There's some ones. I was like, man, no one's saying anything.
No, there's a bunch of ones. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And I definitely want to find out whether or not the guy that ran all of those people over at the at that Christmas festival really got moved to ADX. Yep. Daryl Brooks. That's one that, that
I'll find that out today.
Yeah, because that's fascinating stuff. Daryl Brooks was that case. I don't know if you followed that, but it was one of the most interesting cases that as far as watching a trial.
Yeah.
Because the idiot wanted to defend himself and he wasn't going to back off on that. You know what I mean? Normally a judge can talk you out of defending yourself. And normally about the first time that you start the process, but he wanted so badly to get his ex-girlfriends, plural, on the stand. He was really looking forward to doing cross-examination and just being a jerk. And and it was kind of wild because this was one of those situations where the judge was going to let him do this, but she was going to make sure that no matter what the hell happened, when a real lawyer got a hold of this, they weren't going to be able to get him back in court. In other words, she gave him way, way, way more latitude than any judge would ever give anybody. She was remarkable, in my opinion. I think that was, this is going to sound nuts, but I don't know. I think if it had been any other judge, I think if it had been a man, we'd have been in trouble. I don't think a man could have gotten through that. I really don't. I think a man would have ended up doing something that would have jeopardized that entire case. She was so patient with that moron. But it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not he really has been shipped off to the ADX. That would be, this does happen, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
State inmates are moved into the feds all the time. Yep. It happens all of the time.
I wanted to show everyone, this is when I do all the legal stuff, this is my legal setup there. This is where I like record all the legal stuff.
Good Lord, man.
I edit it behind me.
That's the SS Enterprise. What are you kidding me?
SS Enterprise, yeah.
You're right, Cuda by the Lake. It was a tough trial to watch. It really was. It was a very difficult trial to watch. He spent about half of the time in the courtroom, the other half of the time kicked out of the courtroom. Just a jackwagon. I mean, of the highest order. But I hate things like this because once again, the duality of this, because people lost their lives and there's nothing funny about what happened and what he did, but there are parts of his trial that are so damn funny. It is incredible. You know, where he's trying to act like a lawyer and do the legalese thing.
Oh,
I could watch that shit for days. I'm sorry, I really could.
They put him. Remember when they put him in the next courtroom because he wouldn't shut up?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, they had to. I thought that was righteous. I really did.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I record 6 different courtrooms every day, and then I scan probably 30 different courtrooms.
Do you get our girl every day? The black lady judge from
every day.
She's a beast.
Yeah,
that woman is the judge to watch. She is so much fun, man.
Yeah,
she really is, and she says some of the greatest things. She was the ramen noodle judge. Man, they're going to be trading your ass for a ramen noodle by this afternoon, man. You're going to be traded for a candy bar. She was like, we're going off record. And she just lit this kid up. It was great, man. It really was. It was great.
You know, it's funny. The first time I ever seen a computer before, desktops was AV Stevie. His dad was really into computers. He worked for the airline. And that was the first time I ever seen an IBM. And, there was no Macintosh. There was no nothing. This is before Mac. Well, probably, no, I wouldn't say before Mac, but it was when Macintosh only had that little,
Oh, I remember. You could get it in different colors. It was the first Mac.
But he had an IBM, and that thing was ancient. But I used to just look at it in awe, like, wow, that is crazy.
So, you know what? We're getting the vibe, dude. We have a lot of court nerds here, and I didn't say law nerds because the queen of all legal stuff online is Emily D. Baker, the queen of the law nerd. So I was saying court nerds, so they don't step on her because she is the OG to be sure. But what do you think? It looks like we got a lot of people that would groove on it. I think we should do it. There's I absolutely love the courtroom stuff, and we can bring things to this that you can't even get from an attorney for real. We spent a lot of time doing this, and some of the stuff is fascinating because of what's going on in the minds of the inmate as they're sitting there.
Yeah,
like the difference between the first and the second sentencing.
Yeah. That was my whole reason for getting into the LawTube genre, is because I would watch all these lawyer channels and they would say, yeah, I don't even know what that means. They're talking about, and I knew those answers, from being on the other side. And I was like, and I'd always put it in the chat. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own channel. And then this happened. It's crazy, dude.
Dude, that is crazy. I love that, though. I really do. I love that.
Yeah.
Hannah Banana says, I'm a law nerd and appreciate that Tommy loves Emily D. Baker's amazing. She's show prep, honestly. I watch her at double speed. There's nothing that she does that I don't watch. She's just fantastic at what she does. And there's not a lot of BS and just enough cursey words to make it fun. But the difference between the first time you get sentenced and the second, just right. You remember when you went in and they say to you before you go in there, all right, here's the deal I got for you. You're going to go in today. You're going to plead guilty. And here's exactly what you're going to get. Yes, she does have cats. Then you walk in and the judge goes, nobody promised you anything today, did they? Yeah. Yeah, they just promised me something like a minute ago. And I remember the first time I said that, I'm like, yeah, they promised me something. And my lawyer's putting his arm around me going, no, listen, we didn't promise you. Bullshit. I just sat in the room with him for 25 minutes. Yeah. They said if I plead guilty. No, but she doesn't have to go with that. Well, then this doesn't feel like a very good deal. And then what's worse is they say to you, all right, Casper, so you're being sentenced today to 6 years in the penitentiary, and your heart goes and stops, right? And then she takes a deep breath and goes, all of which will suspend except for the time served you did today. And you're like, right? The first time that happens to you, your heart stops. Because they make
you don't know.
You don't the crap out of you.
What suspended is, or your lawyer might have explained it, but you just think you're not getting it. Do you know what I mean?
I almost got whiplash because I was looking so hard at my attorney. I'm like, 4 years in the pen, dude. You just said I was going home. Right? What the hell are we talking about? And then she's like, and I'm going to suspend all of that, but the 160 days you just did in the county jail. And I'm still too stupid to know what's going on. So wait,
or they use a different word than suspend. Like, not is it adjudicated? I don't know.
Everything they do is meant to scare the crap out of you. Yeah. And it works, man. It really is. I mean, it works.
I already know the first 2 videos I want to show on Monday. And I put up a really good video last night too of this guy and this girl, and she accused the judge of being a swinger, and this judge is no nonsense too. But yeah, it's a really good. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's a really good case.
Yeah, I love geeking out on it. And I'll tell you something else, guys. I was talking to Casper about this yesterday. We have the ability to live stream cases. So if there is a case that's coming up that everybody really wants to see, then we will live stream that bad boy, and we will hang out and talk about it. And
yeah, even if it takes us past 11, right? I mean, if it's something,
yeah, no, we don't care. No, we can leave that. No, we can leave that baby running all day if necessary. So if there is a case that you guys really want us to cover, you should let us know it, because we absolutely will do that.
Yep. And I'm keeping an eye on Karen Reed right now too. And what's his name? But anyway, what else do I have here?
Well, mentholated plants are like chocolate cows. See, Holly Larson gets it. You milk a chocolate cow for chocolate milk, and you grow a mentholated plant if you want a mentholated smoke.
That's so
Makes
funny.
Perfect sense.
You know, I worked in a prison dairy one time, and I'm going to ruin chocolate milk for everybody. Some of the milk. Wait, maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Well, I'm going to talk about it because I already started it.
You can't uncork that.
Yeah,
it's too late now.
Some of the milk will have blood in it from the cow, and they use that milk because it's discolored from the blood. They use that milk for the chocolate milk, the discolored milk. I never knew that. Yeah.
On the bright side, I buy white milk and make chocolate milk with it out of Hershey's syrup.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
always been my get down, because I like it a little gnarlier, and I don't like it often, so it's not worth buying a gallon for anyway. But when I buy it,
yeah,
that's how
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy how quick you can drink chocolate milk? How it just keeps going.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen the. I don't know whether or not you've seen the clip of film. I drink a gallon of milk on the lifeboat. My brother and I did the gallon of milk challenge.
Really?
It's one of my shining achievements, actually.
Do you have to drink it like what, within an hour?
I believe the challenge is 30 minutes, but I could be wrong. An hour would be just fine. But I got mine down in about 10. It took about 10 minutes to get down. It took a little more than 4 seconds to come back up.
Yeah,
actually, I think it was 2. I think it was 2 seconds coming back up. But the sound that it makes is absolutely legendary. It's a really funny video. Chica Cherry Cola, good to see you. Or Chica Cherry Cola, as my fiance would say.
John here, John Lawson.
Yes.
He's encouraged people to go to recovery programs while locked up. I absolutely do that, and I'm down for most of the recovery programs that are available while they're incarcerated. At the places I were, it was a place to exchange things, from the yard. So there was a lot of that. But if you can stay away from that, I definitely encourage that. Unfortunately, people locked up can't hear our program. But if one of our viewers ends up going back, absolutely do as much recovery as you can while you're locked up, and then make sure, like, when you get out, if you can't do a halfway house, do sober living, man. I am such a big fan of sober living. Saved my life, because I have gone back to prison how many times for relapse? So many times. And then the one time that I chose sober living, I was, I went to treatment, then sober living. But it was from jail. I was able to succeed because I had that extra time of actually working my job and coming back to a safe place and I learned how to keep myself safe from people, places, and things. And I learned that when my perceptions get twisted, while out there living in the real world, to go to a meeting and to reset, if a meeting was it, or go to church or pray or wake up and be grateful in the morning and practice gratitude, read a couple pages out of the big book, whatever it took. But sober living encouraged all of that, and living by myself or living with a normie, girlfriend, or a girlfriend that's in recovery doesn't promote that. So I definitely encourage a ton of programming while in prison, getting out of prison. Just don't try to make it on your own when you get out. You've got to have some kind of support if you're an addict.
It's going to sound awful, and it's probably going to sound arrogant, and it's not, I promise you. But every program I ever went to inside for sobriety, even when I was working hard with Q and I was trying to get sober or whatever, it is a way that the fellas could get, just like Casper was saying, they call everybody up to NA. So there were 9 units on the yard. And now for the first time, right, for a lot of these guys, this is the only time the guy from Unit 1 and the guy from Unit 8 have a shot of being in the same place at night. Right. The way they start putting yards up and all that. So you're in there trying to get focused and get your shit together. And you talk about triggers like a bottle or whatever. There are guys in the back cutting deals. I mean, there were dudes in there like passing sacks. And now that they got it, everybody's trying to go to the bathroom to hit a lick, right? Because they all want to go in there and get high. And it's just that to me was one of the most triggering environments in the world. And when I told Q, like when I was getting ready to leave, he goes, you got a program where you get where you're going, especially for drugs. I'm like, man, you know what those are like. He's like, you got to start one, man. Go out there and tell people on the yard, you're going to go out and talk about sobriety. That way it's just going to be the dudes that are already with you. There won't be anybody else coming in. And as it turned out, it was a super open yard. It was a yard where guys from every unit kind of could meet every day anyway. So we ended up with a group of like 115, 116 guys that would come out and meet every day. There were a bunch of people in that yard that wanted to get sober. Yeah. But I agree with you. But for me, having done a decent amount of prison time, they're never going to do anything you're going to have to build your own program. Yeah. So like Casper was saying, get the big book or do whatever you're going to do, but you're going to have to build your own program. You know what? Prison is scary.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say prison is scary.
Yeah. And like for me, like I can't do NA because NA is a trigger for me, because I used to go to NA and look and wait for that one cute girl to share that she's in relapse mode, or that she's, that she relapsed the night before and she's at a meeting. And, I would always end up relapsing with her or, doing something, because that's part of my addiction. And so I can't do NA, but I do my sponsors in AA, my home groups in AA. When I need to, I go to 5 meetings a week. When I don't need to, I don't. So there's definitely, we've talked about it before, many paths, many different ways to recover. It's even in our about. And I'm all about doing everything that another thing I do, and I'll if you're honest with yourself, I'll ask myself, is this decision furthering my recovery? And it could be with anything, and AA and NA aside, and the 12 steps aside, is what I'm doing today, is me going to this place. I would do it with everything. Is this furthering my recovery, or is it taking away from my recovery? And then I would add another one once I got my spiritual life intact. Is this decision bringing me closer to God, or is it bringing me farther from God, or closer to love, like we talk about, or
I love that,
closer to hate?
Yep.
If you are honest with yourself and you ask yourself those questions, especially like being a newcomer or trying to stay clean, and if you not react but take action on your honest answer to those questions, you'll be successful, hands down.
To be sure, I think that for the first, so I'll be 10 years off of heroin in June this year, June 27th, and for the first probably 5 or 6 of them, all I thought about was recovery. Like literally, it was all I thought about, and I kind of applied the same rules. am I making this decision based on logical stuff, or is this my old patterns and everything I put to that test? Is this moving me forward in recovery, not sobriety, because I was so sober the first day I stopped, the recovery part of it, where you try to rebuild your life and do all of that. But as time went on, like when I got to year 6 and when I got to year 7, I started to change more to the spiritual side of it. And I use the word love all the time because it doesn't exclude anybody. But I know for a lot of people that, love does mean God, and to some people it doesn't, or whatever. But yeah, you ask yourself if what you're doing is moving closer to love. And, it's as silly as it sounds, I think the world is starting to move in that direction. I think we're seeing a lot of people, no lie, start to move in that direction. The NFL just put it in their end zone, right?
Yep, they sure did.
And I think that's a pretty good sign.
But people got to understand too, and realize like where we're coming from with exposing a lot of this ST and these other things. There's gonna be some negative annotations or whatever, with that
connotations.
Connotations. We're gonna have to be kind of ruthless about it, and it's gonna seem hateful, but what we hate the sin, not the sinner. We hate the crime, with the criminal. We hate the crime too, I guess, but you know what I mean.